Welcome to this soothing journey through mythology, as we delve into the gentle pursuit of the Ceryneian Hind, a tale from the epic adventures of Hercules. In this story of perseverance and respect, Hercules sets out on a year-long quest, seeking the elusive creature under the watchful eyes of the divine. As you settle in for a night of restful slumber, allow the tranquility of this sacred quest to guide you gently toward peace. And now, let the tale unfold. In the tranquil halls of Tiryns, King Eurystheus once again summoned Hercules to undertake a task, the likes of which had not only tested the hero's strength, but also his understanding of the divine will. This time, the king commanded Hercules to capture the Ceryneian Hind, a revered creature under the protection of Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. Perched on his throne, Eurystheus's eyes watched Hercules with a mixture of skepticism and command, knowing well the sacred nature of this endeavor. For Hercules, this task was not just another labor. It was a journey into the realm of the divine, a quest as much about gentleness and patience as it was about strength. Hercules took a moment to reflect on the significance of this venerated quest. The Ceryneian Hind was not just any creature. It was a symbol of sacred stillness and beauty, known for its speed and elusive nature. Its golden antlers and bronze hooves were as much objects of divine art as they were components of the natural world. Understanding that any act of aggression could provoke Artemis's wrath, Hercules resolved to approach this labor with great care. He knew that capturing the hind without harm would require unprecedented subtlety and respect, a stark departure from his usual feats of might. With a resolution firm yet gentle, Hercules set forth from the kingdom of Tiryns, his path leading him into the ancient forests of Greece. These woods were old, their trees towering with the wisdom of ages, their roots interwoven like the stories of the gods themselves. As he entered this serene yet mystic domain, Hercules surrendered to the calm that fell over him, understanding that the quest was as much about walking in harmony with nature as it was about achieving the task. It wasn't long before Hercules caught his first sight of the Ceryneian Hind. In a small clearing, the creature grazed peacefully under the forgiving light of dawn, its form silhouetted against the pastel hues of a misty morning. The sight filled Hercules with reverence, as though he were witnessing a divine apparition. He stood motionless, aware that his presence should not disrupt the natural order of things. Here was no ordinary hunt. It was a sacred dance with the untouchable beauty of the otherworldly. Realizing the delicate nature of his task, Hercules decided to follow the hind at a respectful distance, observing its habits and paths without intrusion. This was no chase of strength or speed. Instead, it was a patient pursuit, requiring him to be as subtle as the mist that hung between the trees. The soft rustle of leaves and the gentle whisper of the wind guided him, teaching him that harmony with nature required humility and careful observation. As day surrendered to night, Hercules found himself beneath the canopy of stars, contemplating the expectations of the gods. The vast sky stretched endlessly above him, a testament to the divine order that held dominion over earthly endeavors. In that silent vigil, Hercules pondered the nature of his labor. He understood that the gods looked not just for completed tasks, but for the spirit in which they were carried out. The pursuit of the hind was a test of his respect for life and his understanding of balance, a test that required him to honor the sacred intersections of the mortal and the divine. The gradual breaking of dawn hinted at the continuation of Hercules' journey. As the world slowly awoke to the tender promise of a new day, Hercules felt a renewed sense of purpose. His resolve to capture the Ceryneian Hind with care strengthened further as he reflected on the lessons embedded in the quiet majesty of the forest around him. It was here, in this realm of tranquility and grace, that Hercules would continue his sacred quest, ever mindful of the divine presence that watched over him and the hind that led his way. As dawn broke softly over the ancient forests of Greece, Hercules pressed forward, his gaze intent on the path that lay ahead. The Ceryneian hind, delicate and swift, moved through the underbrush, a graceful specter among the trees. Hercules followed in silence, each step deliberate and respectful, maintaining a distance that honored the sacred creature's need for freedom. His task was not one of brute force or conquest, but rather of understanding and respect, a theme he embraced wholeheartedly. Hercules watched as the hind navigated the dense forest with poise, its golden antlers a glinting beacon amidst the dappled sunlight. Each twist and turn of its path spoke of its intimate knowledge of the woodland realm, a domain where every creature knew its place within the natural order. Hercules marveled at the hind's instinctive awareness, his admiration deepening with every step. In places where the path forked or disappeared altogether, the hind deftly chose its course, teaching Hercules that the journey itself held lessons worth learning. As the morning gave way to afternoon, Hercules encountered various woodland creatures, rabbits, deer, and foxes, that crossed his path. They seemed to sense the reverence in his approach, pausing only briefly to acknowledge him with curious eyes before retreating to their hidden sanctuaries. Hercules felt a quiet connection with the forest, a shared understanding that his intentions were benign. His respect for the creatures in their home only solidified his resolve to see the task through with unwavering patience. Each passing day fortified Hercules' spirit. Though the journey was long and fraught with uncertainty, the tranquil beauty of the forest provided a balm to his soul. Challenges arose in the form of rough terrains and the occasional natural obstacle, loose stones, tangled thickets, and steep inclines, but these only served to affirm his resolve. Hercules approached each hurdle not as a setback, but as a chance to demonstrate his dedication and perseverance. The hind remained a constant, if elusive, companion. Even when it slipped from view, the subtle signs of its passage, hoof prints in the soft earth, a broken twig, kept Hercules motivated in his pursuit. These glimpses assured him that he was on the right path, an assurance that he held on to in moments of doubt. As the sun began to descend, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Hercules found a suitable spot to rest for the night. Beneath a canopy of whispering leaves, he set up a modest camp, grateful for the serene shelter that the forest provided. His mind was filled with the day's observations, each moment a thread in the intricate tapestry of his journey. He ate a simple meal and allowed himself a moment of reflection, knowing that the path before him was as much spiritual as it was physical. Night fell gently, the forest enveloped in a soothing embrace. Hercules lay back, listening to the rhythmic chorus of the wilderness, the rustling leaves, and the distant call of an owl, the only sounds to break the silence. As he began to drift into sleep, rain began to softly patter on the leaves above, a gentle lullaby to guide his dreams. Unconcerned by the change in weather, Hercules welcomed the rain as a cleansing presence, both an end to the day's journey and the promise of new challenges to come. The pursuit of the Ceryneian hind was not a fleeting endeavor for Hercules. Weeks seamlessly turned into months as he trailed this sacred creature through the expanses of the Greek wilderness. His task was a test of endurance, as capturing this creature required not mere physical prowess, but an unwavering patience and respect for the natural world. As the days slipped into weeks, the forest itself transformed. The lush greens of summer gradually gave way to the ochres and scarlets of autumn, each season bringing with it a new melody of sounds, the rustling of leaves, the call of birds preparing for migration, and the whispers of the cooling breeze. Hercules developed a daily routine rooted in quiet observation and the pursuit of minute clues. Each step was deliberate, his eyes ever watchful for the delicate imprint of the hind's hooves upon the earthy carpet of the forest. He noticed the subtle signs indicating its presence, The bent blades of grass, the slight disturbance of fallen leaves, and occasionally the flash of gold and white as the hind moved like a whisper through the underbrush. Following these cues, he mirrored the behavior of the creature, emulating its gentle, respectful navigation through the wilderness. In time, Hercules adopted the rhythm of the forest. His journey was no longer just a pursuit. He became an integral part of the landscape. His interaction with shepherds and occasional travelers brought moments of human connection. They shared tales of their own encounters with the wonders of nature, finding camaraderie in their experiences. To them, Hercules was not just a hero, but a fellow traveler in awe of the world's beauty around them. These interactions served as breathers in his relentless quest. Yet, the path was fraught with inner struggle. As the forest grew denser and more challenging, Hercules occasionally found his spirit wavering. Moments of doubt crept in, whispering echoes of his labor's enormity and uncertainty. At these times, he engaged in quiet dialogues with himself, summoning the strength to stay true to his purpose. He drew from the forest's beauty for inspiration. The play of sunlight through autumn leaves, the dance of shadows across the forest floor, and the steadfast resilience of the trees, all served to remind him of the timeless virtues he pursued: perseverance and respect. Then there were inevitable challenges presented by nature. One particular evening, as dusk settled its gentle cloak over the land, the calm rhythm of the forest was disrupted by the arrival of heavy rain. The skies darkened, and rain poured with fervor, erasing the delicate tracks that Hercules had painstakingly followed. For a moment, he stood, rain-soaked and weary, at a loss with the hind's trail seemingly vanished. Yet, this trial too was a lesson, a reminder of nature's dominion, and the humility required to face its formidable force. The rain eventually subsided, leaving the forest awash with the scent of fresh earth and cleansed foliage. Even as the tracks faded, Hercules found hope in the aftermath. As the water trickled down leaves, glistening under the muted light of dusk, it whispered promises of renewal and clarity. He knew that once the rain cleared, it would reveal a landscape anew, a chance to rediscover the trail with sharpened senses and restored focus. His journey was about more than capturing the hind. It was about understanding the world it represented. As night fell, he resolved to rest beneath the canopy of stars, entrusting the forest to reveal its secrets once more. He lay down, and the rain waned, leaving the nighttime symphony of crickets and owls to serenade the dark. The path ahead called to him softly, with a promise of discovery and a deepening connection to the sacred pursuit that lay before him. The morning light of a new day began to creep into the rain-soaked forest, casting a gentle glow upon the landscape. Hercules, resilient and unwavering, rose from his makeshift shelter, feeling a renewed sense of clarity beyond the persistent rain that marked the preceding days. He surveyed his surroundings, noting the mist hanging in the air like a thin veil, a reminder that nature, like the gods, held mysteries he was still learning to understand. Despite recent challenges, Hercules felt reinvigorated, ready for the pursuit that continued to call him forward. As he ventured deeper into the forest, the ground beneath his feet revealed the promise of new opportunity. The tracks of the Ceryneian Hind, previously obscured by the storm, glistened with the morning dew as if beckoning him to follow. With careful deliberation, he studied their path, finding comfort in their continuity amid the natural chaos. Each step taken led Hercules closer to his goal, yet his journey was painted with an understanding that this was more than a physical chase. The pursuit demanded something deeper: patience, respect, and the willingness to learn from all that the ancient woodland offered him. The forest path led to an unexpected area, lush with vibrant vegetation and lined with trickling streams that sang soft melodies to the wind. Hercules paused at a particularly inviting stream, its waters crystal clear and teeming with the life nurtured by nature's steady hand. A sense of peace enveloped him as he sat beside the water, allowing himself to reflect on the journey thus far. The burden of his task, arduous though it was, seemed lighter against the backdrop of such serene beauty. Hercules understood that the forest shared its ancient wisdom in moments like these, quiet yet profound. While Hercules pondered, he observed movement in the distance. There, in a sunlit clearing, stood the Ceryneian Hind, grazing with a gracefulness that seemed to belong to an otherworldly realm. The creature flicked its ears, acknowledging Hercules' presence, yet remained unperturbed, a testament to the unspoken understanding that had begun to grow between them. It was a silent communication, one where neither party imposed upon the other, both mindful of the delicate balance between hunter and hunted, deity and worshipper. Hercules took solace in these moments, appreciating the gentle gestures and behaviors of the hind that could only come from its harmonious existence within the forest. This knowledge, gathered not from force but observation, was a gift to the hero, aiding him in his pursuit. He began to discern patterns in the hind's movements, its habits intrinsically tied to the rhythm of the wild. Each insight gained was like a key unlocking a deeper appreciation for the natural world and its creatures, a world Hercules sought to protect as fiercely as he pursued his labors. As the day drew to a close, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across the landscape. Hercules watched as the hind departed from the clearing, its path leading deeper into the woods, a reminder that the pursuit was ongoing. Yet instead of urgency, he felt a sense of promise, a continuation of the journey that seemed both endless and fulfilling. He gathered his things, the world around him settling into an embrace of twilight, and knew that he too must move forward with the day's learnings held close. As evening fell softly around him, the air carried an inviolable tranquility, its cool touch filled with whispers of the forest's promise to those who walked its paths with reverence. Hercules, with fatigue eased by newfound clarity, prepared for the night, aware that each morning brought him closer to his ultimate goal. In this quiet, sacred space, beneath an expanse of stars, he understood that success was as much about the journey as its conclusion. With that thought, he felt reassured, ready to face whatever lay ahead. As he lay back to rest by a flowing stream not far from the clearing's edge, Hercules found peace in the gentle currents, closing his eyes to the steady lull. It was within these waters where he discovered deeper connections, not just with the task at hand, but with the sacred rhythms that guided his quest. Here, in a forest that seemed to pulse with its own gentle heartbeat, Hercules felt entirely present, yet keenly aware of the greater world waiting beyond the hills. With each passing day, the mysterious elegance of the Ceryneian Hind unfolded before Hercules as he dedicated himself to silent observation. The forests of Greece, rich with life and wisdom, became his realm of learning. From the shadows, Hercules watched the hind, its movements fluid, embodying the grace of Artemis herself. Time was measured by the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft sighing of the wind, a symphony of nature woven with silken threads of patience and reverence. In this forest, Hercules found his place, blending seamlessly into the rhythm of its existence. The scent of pine and earth grounded him, while the rustling leaves whispered ancient secrets known only to those who listened. With Artemis's sacred creature as his guide, Hercules learned to move with the quiet dignity of nature itself, understanding the subtle language of creatures who dwelt within. Here, the bond between Hercules and the hind deepened, unspoken yet profound, a testament to mutual respect. Among the verdant expanse, the presence of Hercules became a calming influence. The woodland creatures, from the darting deer to the gentle birds perched above, grew accustomed to his silent vigil. Their heed of Hercules was not one of fear but recognition, as they continued their life's dance beneath the whispered leaves in serene harmony. Days blurred into one another, marked only by the hind's grace and Hercules' unwavering attention, a routine of quiet harmony that felt as natural as the forest's heartbeat. As dawn broke one misty morning, Hercules stood at the edge of the forest spring. The light was diffused in soft hues, bathing the surroundings in gentle, ethereal beauty. The hind appeared, its presence tranquil yet commanding, both acknowledging the strength and restraint within Hercules. There was an understanding in shared silence, an acknowledgement between man and creature in the timeless dance of nature, a breeze rustling leaves, serving as a gentle comfort to both. Hercules' heart swelled with a respect that transformed into spiritual understanding. He admired the hind not as a prize, nor merely a task to be completed, but as a revered being to be honored. Drawing from the knowledge housed within these ancient woods, his own essence became imbued with the forest's wisdom, a wisdom echoed through every branch and stream. The sense of reverence, the silent appeal to greater forces, permeated his soul with deeper truths that transcended his mortal labors. In a moment of shared tranquility, Hercules and the hind dipped their heads to drink from the forest spring, a bond made manifest not through words but actions. Ripples danced across the water, mirroring their reflection as if weaving a tapestry of unity. Hercules felt a profound sense of connection, an echo of ancient kinship between the human realm and divine nature. As the day mellowed into evening, tranquility blanketed the forest in a soft embrace. Quiet sounds of crickets filled the air, with shadows lengthening beneath the canopy. The bond between Hercules and the hind had deepened, an enduring testament to respect, patience, and harmony. His heart was filled with promise, each encounter with the Ceryneian hind etching indelible wisdom onto the canvas of his soul. Thus, with the forest's gentle whispers guiding him, Hercules had grown ever closer to a breakthrough, the pursuit evolving into something greater than the labor itself. As the evening mist breezed gently through the forests of Greece, Hercules knew that the lessons of patience and reverence would serve him well. The journey was about more than capturing the hind. It was about honoring the divine balance and understanding the tapestry of life woven within these sacred woods. As the days blended seamlessly into nights, Hercules found himself grappling with the dichotomy of his task. The pursuit of the Ceryneian hind was unlike any other labor he had faced. It demanded not just strength and persistence, but a deep respect for the creature's sacred nature. Each step through the ancient forest carried a weight that accentuated the reverence he held for the task. Hercules recognized the divine implications surrounding the hind and the delicate balance that needed to be maintained to fulfill his duty without disturbing the natural order or angering the gods. Under the vast dome of stars, Hercules sought solace in quiet contemplation. The moonlight bathed the grove in an ethereal glow, creating a serene haven where he could reflect on the day's events and restore his faith. With the rustling leaves as his co-conspirators, he pondered the significance of his mission, recognizing that the ultimate test lay not in his physical abilities, but in his capacity for patience and in respectfulness. The sacred bond between the divine and the earthly seemed especially pronounced under such a peaceful canopy of night. One night, as sleep gently took hold, Hercules found himself transported into a vivid dream, where Artemis, the fierce protector of the hind, appeared before him. Her gaze, a mixture of sternness and understanding, spoke volumes without uttering a word. It was a reminder of the importance of his endeavor, a task mandated by the gods, requiring not only completion, but completion with grace. The vision reaffirmed his conviction that his redemption was intertwined with the fulfillment of this labor, serving as a pivotal moment of spiritual clarity. Awakening from the dream, Hercules felt a renewed sense of purpose. No longer burdened by doubts, he understood more clearly the intertwined nature of his task and his quest for redemption. This labor was a path to healing past wounds and restoring his standing with the divine. The journey was as much about proving his worth to the gods as it was about respecting the role of the hind in the grand tapestry of nature. Vowing silently, Hercules promised himself that he would accomplish his task without causing harm to the sacred creature. His resolve stemmed not from fear of retribution, but from a deep-seated respect for the divine nature of the hind. His promise was a personal commitment to approach the conclusion of this pursuit with gentleness and reverence, ensuring the hind remained unharmed, embodying the patience and harmony he had cultivated throughout this journey. During one of his silent wanderings through the forest, Hercules stumbled upon a younger herd of deer. The innocent playfulness of the fawns reminded him of the purity and innocence that needed protection and reverence. This encounter reinforced his determination to approach every step of his task with the utmost care, to ensure that he honored the sanctity of life in all its forms. As dawn began to tint the sky with shades of silver, Hercules found a quiet spot to meditate. His mind, once a whirlwind of thoughts and worries, gradually calmed as he centered his focus inwardly. This meditation was not merely a respite, but a renewal, a reinforcement of his spiritual endurance. The soft rustle of the waking forest around him served as a reassuring companion to his thoughts, knitting together the lessons of patience and respect learned over months of pursuit. In the stillness that preceded the break of day, Hercules experienced a profound sense of spiritual renewal. The tranquility of the moment filled him with confidence and serenity, a gentle reminder that his journey was about more than capturing a creature. It was about embracing the wisdom and harmony embodied by the hind. This understanding carried him forward, ensuring that his strength lay not in force, but in the gentility of spirit and unwavering dedication to his path. As dawn approached with its gentle hues, a change was palpable in the forest. Hercules sensed it in the delicate rustling of leaves and the cool breath of the morning air. The hind, his elusive quarry, began to exhibit subtle shifts in behavior, a quiet acknowledgement of Hercules' intentions. There was a newfound calmness in the way it moved, its senses attuned not to fear but to understanding. This marked the commencement of the final phase of Hercules' pursuit, where the harmony between man and nature took shape in ways words could scarcely express. Nature itself seemed to herald this shift, with signs that graced the sky. A warm light filtered through the mist, casting delicate patterns upon the forest floor, and birdsong carried messages of encouragement. Hercules recalled the many lessons learned through his journey, the patience acquired by tracing the hind's tracks, and the serenity derived from daily communion with the wilderness. These had become part and parcel of his being, guiding him now when subtlety and respect were paramount. Setting a gentle pace, Hercules tread softly among the trees. He minimized his presence in the landscape, moving with the quiet assurance of one who had become protégé to the wisdom of nature itself. The forest, once a labyrinth of challenges, was now his ally, offering silent reassurance with every step. The exquisite balance of power between Hercules and the hind was an acknowledgement that neither force nor haste would triumph, but rather an enduring reverence for the sacred pursuit. Hercules noted the hind's acceptance of his role. It grazed with a peculiar tranquility, untroubled by his quiet proximity. Their relationship, forged through months of shared existence in the wild, began to unfold silently. This understanding was deep, a tangible reminder of the gentle connections between mortal and divine endeavors. Such was the harmony between their worlds. It seemed as though the hind and Hercules were two parts of a single narrative, written in the stars and nature itself. Another encounter with shepherds demarcated Hercules' journey, a testament to his progress through terrains both external and internal. The shepherds, familiar faces along this path, greeted Hercules with respectful glances. They, like Hercules, sensed the transcendence of the chase, the way it stretched beyond mere labor, into the realm of spiritual communion. Hercules exchanged nods with them, each acknowledging the silent respect for the task that was nearing its denouement. The forest, poised in silent expectation, heralded the moments that preceded the dawn. Mist rolled gently amid the trunks, weaving ephemeral patterns of anticipation. Hercules, attuned to the subtleties of this natural theater, understood that destiny and diligence had brought him to the cusp of achievement. His task, to capture the hind with honor and without harm, resonated within the hushed stillness that enveloped him. There was an air of calm fulfillment, as though nature itself was readying for a gentle resolution. As twilight surrendered to the first light of dawn, the chase approached its climax. Hercules stood calmly at the forest's edge, the mist whispering around him with promises of transformation. This was a moment he had long prepared for, a union of objective and reverence. With the forest waiting in silent meditation, Hercules felt the tides turning in his favor. The culmination of the pursuit was near, not only in physical terms, but in the deeper spiritual sense. Thus, as the new day ushered in faint glimmers of sunlight, Hercules embraced his role in this harmonious dance of fate. He stood united with nature and the divine, ready for the gentle capture that would soon follow. In this tranquil progression, the forest held its breath, and the world seemed to pause, acknowledging the profound significance of Hercules' journey. In the tranquil embrace of a winter morning, the forest lay shrouded in a gentle fog. Each tendril of mist silently wove through the trees, enveloping the world in a cloak of profound quietude. It was as if the entire forest was waiting for something significant, poised on the cusp of a revelation. Hercules, steady and vigilant, stood at the heart of this peace, sensing the sovereign stillness of the land around him. The dawn of this pivotal day had arrived, signaling the culmination of his pursuit. This was the moment he had been preparing for, the silent promise fulfilled by the understanding that had grown between him and the Ceryneian Hind. The hind, a creature of unrivaled grace and sacredness, stood quietly grazing, trusting the presence of Hercules. Its movements were unhurried, unguarded by its usual wariness. It seemed aware that the man who had followed it for a year now shared in its peaceful existence. Hercules, having spent so long respecting the boundary between them, now felt the depth of their unspoken connection. Careful and deliberate, he advanced, each step a testament to the gentle respect he had cultivated throughout this year-long journey. As he approached, his breath held in reverence. The hind did not flee. An acknowledgement passed between man and beast, a silent vow exchanged in the presence of the ancient trees and the veiled light of the morning. The hind, wise beyond mortal comprehension, stood in the clearing with a poised serenity. Its trust was palpable, formed through countless days and nights where Hercules had proven himself not as a hunter, but as a respectful pursuer. This was the act of trust that set this capture apart from any other. It was not simply the snaring of a creature, but the fulfillment of a harmonious balance. Hercules, now mere steps away, performed the delicate act with infinite care. His movements were slow, each motion calculated to cause no alarm nor discomfort to the sacred creature. With practiced precision, he gently draped a thin rope across its slender neck, ensuring that his actions reflected the profound respect he felt. As the rope settled, the forest seemed to pause, as if all creatures, from the tiniest insects to the mighty trees, bore witness to this momentous event. The air was thick with the feeling of something monumental. In this act, there was no struggle, no distress, only the completion of a silent agreement formed through their time together. Hercules had not come to conquer, nor to claim dominion over the hind, but to fulfill his labor without betraying the bond they shared. The hind, in its wisdom, recognized this truth and offered its compliance not from fear, but from an understanding that transcended words. This was a union of trust and duty. The forest held its breath, the soft rustle of leaves momentarily stilled. It was as if all of nature paused in a profound silence to honor the moment between Hercules and the hind. Yet, this union was not fraught with earthly bindings, but with the light tether of mutual respect and shared purpose. The symphony of the forest resumed. A soft breeze swayed the branches, the rustling leaves joined in, and with it flowed the gentle rhythm of the world, a reminder of the serene beauty within nature's balance. With the hind now beside him, Hercules felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. The completion of his task was a testament not only to his strength and perseverance, but also to his ability to listen and to learn from the very essence of the wilderness he traversed. This moment was not just the capture of the hind. It was the realization of a profound understanding that had grown between a man known for his strength and a creature revered for its grace. Standing in the fog-laden clearing, Hercules experienced a rare clarity and calmness. His journey had taught him the true essence of the task lay far beyond mere capture. It lay in the gentle understanding he had fostered. It was this perception that now filled the dawn, as softly and slowly as a new day unfurling its delicate hues. The journey was not yet over, but this moment stood as a milestone, marking the beginning of an understanding between worlds. As Hercules prepared for the next phase of his journey, the serene surroundings whispered promises of peace to come. Within this mist-laden forest, man and nature together embraced a truth that went beyond mortal understanding. The gifts of kindness, patience, and respect lay unwrapped before them, their wonder shared by all who bore witness. Hercules, carrying the sacred burden of the hind, turned toward the path ahead, the world itself seeming to sigh a gentle note of approval as he took his first step forward. The mist that had cloaked the forest slowly dissipated as Hercules, alongside the Ceryneian Hind, began their serene journey back to civilization. The trees, ancient and wise, stood as silent witnesses to their passage, having watched over Hercules through the seasons of his pursuit. The path they followed wound gently through the underbrush, leading them away from the sacred wilderness and toward the realms of man. As the sun rose higher in the overcast sky, the forest gradually gave way to open fields marked with the distant signs of human habitation. Hercules walked with a sense of calm fulfillment. The hind, calm beside him, walked with grace, seemingly aware of its release from the divine realm. The beast displayed a sense of trust towards Hercules, a testament to the understanding that had developed between them during his year-long quest. Each step they took was measured and unhurried, embodying the quiet wisdom born from their shared journey. It was a passage from mystery into a world where their story would unfold among both mortals and the divine. Passers-by they encountered on the journey could not help but marvel at the sight of Hercules with this extraordinary creature. Though unaware of its sacred origin, they recognized the purity and grace embodied by the hind. Whispers spread about a hero returning triumphantly from some mythical endeavor, feeding the imaginations of those who saw them. For Hercules, these reactions underscored the magnitude of his task and the gentle reverence with which he approached it. Throughout the journey, Hercules reflected on the labor he had completed and the spiritual lessons it imparted. He understood the immense patience it required and how deeply it had challenged him to align with the natural world. In his mind, the capture of the Ceryneian Hind transcended mere physical achievement. It had been an odyssey of the spirit, teaching him respect and harmony with the forces of nature. In silence, he pondered on the revelations this unique pursuit had brought him, rewarding him with more than just the satisfaction of a task fulfilled. The influence of the wilderness on Hercules' heart began to wane as signs of human life grew more distinct, a distant call of shepherds, the smoke of remote hearths. The transition was almost seamless, yet marked by a quiet nostalgia for the simplicity and purity the forest provided. The hind, perhaps sensing the shift, maintained its composed presence at Hercules' side, as unperturbed by village life as it had been by the serene forest. In its calm acceptance, Hercules found a reflection of his own understanding, one forged in the quiet glades and sunlit clearings of the woodland. There was no tension as they approached the borders of Tiryns, only a shared tranquility between Hercules and the creature that had become both his challenge and his companion. This air of quiet acceptance was born of mutual respect and a recognition of what they had both endured to reach this point. Each step towards the city's walls brought them closer to the fulfillment of his labor, the assertion of balance between the mortal and immortal realms, echoing softly in the rhythm of their walk. As the structures of Tiryns loomed ever closer, Hercules felt a building anticipation for his return. He was ready to present the Ceryneian Hind to King Eurystheus, to share the tale of his respectful quest, a narrative blessed with divine patience and insight. Ahead lay the judgment of men, the lurking doubts of mortals, and perhaps glimpses of approval from the deities who watched over these events. Hercules, however, carried the steadfast peace of one who had learned to honor his labors as journeys of the heart. Finally, reaching the outskirts of the city, Hercules paused. The path that had brought him this far extended back into the forest. He glanced over his shoulder at the terrain they had left behind, knowing its influence would forever linger in his soul. The entrance to the kingdom marked the transition from one realm into another, an elegant testimony to the bond formed between the hero and the world he had briefly shared with an emblem of divinity. A gentle promise filled the air as he stepped forward, setting into motion the next chapter of his fabled undertaking. As Hercules arrived at the threshold of King Eurystheus' court, the Ceryneian Hind walked beside him, a testament to his diligence and care. The moment was solemn, marked by the quiet acceptance of the journey's completion. Though the city of Tiryns buzzed with the awareness of Hercules' arrival, an unmistakable calmness enveloped the pair, lending an almost sacred air to the scene. In this intersection of man, creature, and myth, a reality beyond the ordinary beckoned. Crossing the threshold, a divine presence was palpable, as if the very air hummed with the quiet power of the gods. Hercules felt this presence, a subtle yet pervasive acknowledgement of his respectful approach to capturing the sacred hind. It was a moment of introspection, where the lines between the mortal and divine realms seemed to blur, creating a space for reverence and awe. The Ceryneian Hind's tranquil demeanor suggested its own awareness of the divine, recognizing the balance maintained throughout the ordeal. Soon, Artemis appeared in all her ethereal glory, stepping forward from the shadows of the court. She came as an embodiment of the hunt and protector of sacred creatures, a formidable presence demanding attention and respect. Her gaze fell upon Hercules, a silent inquiry into the manner in which her beloved hind had been captured. In that glance, there was both challenge and curiosity, a test of Hercules' intentions and honor. Hercules, guided by a sense of inevitable necessity, calmly defended his actions. He explained that his pursuit had not been marked by aggression or harm, but rather by patience and understanding. His words conveyed the respect he had shown throughout, knowing the task was not just about capture but about honoring divine relationships. He spoke with sincerity, illustrating the kindness with which he had treated the hind, allowing its spirit to remain untouched by fear. Listening intently, Artemis acknowledged the care and compassion in Hercules' approach. Her demeanor softened as she recognized the integrity of his labor, a rarity among the mortals she observed. This recognition was not immediate, but was born from years of observing Hercules' steadfast perseverance and his choice of gentility over brute force. In her heart, Artemis found room for agreement, where respect for sacred creatures could transcend tasks and be a testament to the character of humans interacting with divinity. An agreement was forged between them, underscoring the mutual respect towards the divine and the mortal realms. Artemis, while still protective of her creatures, saw in Hercules an ally, a mortal capable of understanding the importance of their sacredness. It was a pact of sorts, built upon the lessons Hercules had learned and Artemis's acknowledgement of his honor. Hercules received Artemis' blessing, a mark of his honorable intent and a reinforcement of his commitment to the principles of compassion and respect. With a nod, Artemis signaled for the Ceryneian Hind's return to the wild under her watchful protection. Hercules understood this gesture deeply, for it was never his intention to keep the hind but to fulfill his task while preserving its innate sanctity. As the hind stepped away, returning to the embrace of nature, Hercules felt a profound sense of peace, a resolution achieved without disrupting the balance he sought to maintain. The court, still poised in contemplation, recognized the sacred nature of the event. Hercules watched the hind disappear into the distance, a symbol of beauty and freedom under Artemis's care. In the air of Tyrians, there lingered a feeling of divine approval, setting the tone for Hercules' continuing labors. He had fulfilled this task with integrity, projecting a path forward informed by divine teaching and mutual respect. With the gods' approval, Hercules stood ready to embark on his next labor. He felt strengthened by the spiritual fulfillment of capturing the hind, carrying with him both the divine blessing and the weight of wisdom accrued through thoughtful perseverance. Thus, Hercules' journey continued, imbued with an appreciation for the sacred and a resolve to honor such ties through future endeavors. As Hercules stood in the grand hall of King Eurystheus, his presence notable with the Ceryneian Hind in respectful proximity, the room filled with an expectant silence. King, seated upon his throne, surveyed the situation with a skeptical eye, his demeanor reflecting the gravitas of the occasion. Although the divine understanding between Hercules and the hind had been established, Eurystheus remained uncertain about both the task's culmination and Hercules' method in achieving it. His skepticism was palpable, a reminder of the complexities inherent in Hercules' trials. Hercules, maintaining a calm and dignified posture, began to recount the journey which had led him to this point. He shared the arduous path of perseverance and respect, detailing his methodical pursuit and the reverent interactions with the hind. He emphasized the care he had taken, ensuring the sacred creature remained unharmed, his actions guided by a deep respect for both the divine and the creatures under their guardianship. As he spoke, the room felt attentive, its occupants drawn into the story woven by Hercules' experiences. King Eurystheus listened with a cautious discipline, his expression unchanged but not unmoved. Hercules' words painted a picture of a labor fulfilled with meticulous respect, yet the king's acknowledgement came reluctantly. There was a part of Eurystheus that questioned the morality and authenticity of Hercules' deeds, perhaps wondering if one could truly capture such divine grace. Despite any reservations he held, the inertia of the accounts could not be denied. Around the hall, court officials and attendants murmured softly amongst themselves, reflecting on the tale presented to them. Hercules' recounting prompted discussions not only on the completion of his challenge, but also on broader themes touching upon humanity's relationship with nature. The gentle tilt of the narrative encouraged contemplation, the court considering how the mortal realm's actions reflected upon divine affairs and their inherent responsibilities. As the recount concluded, King Eurystheus finally spoke, his voice carrying the weight of authority tempered with subtle admiration. The richness of Hercules' story had nudged the king towards acceptance, if not entirely convinced by the divine accessibility Hercules seemed to possess. He gave Hercules his next task, another labor among those demanded by the gods, yet also a tacit nod of respect. It was a delicate dance between skepticism and admiration, etched into the words of the king himself. Hercules accepted the forthcoming labor with a newfound depth of spiritual understanding. His journey with the hind, embodying perseverance and humility, had bestowed upon him a wisdom that would guide his future endeavors. He was mindful of the delicate balance between human actions and divine will, a balance which he had navigated successfully, leading to the completion of his latest task. Amidst the flickering candlelight of Eurystheus' hall, Hercules' figure exuded calm resolve. The trials ahead approached with serene determination. The dimming warmth of the room matched the tranquil mood carried throughout Hercules' journey, underscoring the royal skepticism and the evolving admiration lain upon him. As he prepared to embark on the next challenge, a clear path mapped out by both his successes and lessons learned. Thus, within the halls that bore witness to skepticism and acceptance, Hercules readied himself for new endeavors, a faint glow of enlightenment following his wake. His story, imbued with divine approval and mortal skepticism, set the stage for future trials that awaited him. This chapter of his journey concluded, laying down the spiritual framework for labors yet to come. Having successfully presented the Ceryneian Hind to King Eurystheus, Hercules retreats from the formalities of the king's hall, seeking solace in the tranquil embrace of nature. Standing at the edge of the ancient forest, he contemplates the journey that has unfolded, casting a serene gaze upon the misty landscape before him. The forest appears alive, breathing in harmony with the gentle morning mist as Hercules reflects on the labor completed, a task that tested not his physical might, but his soul's capacity for patience and respect. Each step he had taken during the pursuit resonates within him, filled with lessons only patience and perseverance could impart. Hercules recalls his initial resolve to handle the sacred hind with care. What began as a daunting task evolved into an enlightening journey marked by silent communion with the forest creatures and a mutual understanding with the divine. The experiences serve as a reminder of the balance that must be maintained between human ambition and the tranquility of nature. His journey with the hind has transformed him, instilling a deeper appreciation for the world around and a recognition of the intricate ties that bind life's various forms into a singular network of other. Harmony. As Hercules reflects, he considers the future labors that await him. With the wisdom garnered from his gentle pursuit of the hind, he is ready to face new challenges. He prays his newfound insights will guide him in respecting each task not merely as a labor to be completed, but as an opportunity for growth and understanding of the divine and earthly realms. His humble acknowledgement of these teachings now forms a part of his internal compass, a guiding star in the complex world of myth and legend that he straddles. He vows to carry the spirits of the beasts and the blessings of Artemis within him as a bond of reverence and guardianship over nature. In quiet solitude, he intertwines this vow with his resolve to approach future labors with a measured understanding that reflects both strength and respect. Hercules understands that he stands not simply as a hero completing tasks, but as a guardian, maintaining the delicate balance between his mortal duties and divine obligations. Meeting a few trusted companions along his path, Hercules shares his tale and the profound realization it's birthed in him. Their conversations, marked by wonder and curiosity, deepen Hercules' appreciation for the teachings of perseverance and harmony with nature. The forest, which has embraced his journey, now extends an invitation to learn more from its timeless depths. Hercules, in these moments, sees the forest not merely as wild terrain but as a sanctuary, a place where earthly and divine lessons merge. The peaceful call of the wild now resonates with a fulfilling symphony of knowledge and enlightenment that Hercules embraces wholeheartedly. As the mist slowly lifts, the forest stands as a symbol of serenity and wisdom, inviting Hercules to return whenever he seeks solace and understanding. With renewed spirit and clarity, Hercules looks toward the future endeavors that await him. There is a tranquility in his heart and a gentle determination in his step. As he walks away from the forest edge, the dawn of new chapters shimmers briefly in the morning mist, a promise of labors that he will undertake with the patience, respect, and harmony he has. cultivated,